Folks, welcome to an all new episode of So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is your pal Ryan. How the heck was your weekend? I don't know why I'm so excited. It's Sunday, 11:36 p.m. Just working on this show to get it out for you in your hot little hands tomorrow, hot little ears. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, hello YouTube. We did this funny thing on YouTube. Well, we're doing it for YouTube. I think I told you guys last week, me and Maritza, who works on the show, we recorded this video. Once we hit a certain amount of subscribers, I said I would eat a bunch of raw onions, and we did that last week. And I just watched the first edit that Maritza sent me of me eating the onions, and it's a lot, you guys. I think it's going to be on YouTube either tomorrow or the next day. So go check it out. See if you can stand watching a grown man try to choke down a bunch of raw onions. It does not. It's not right. It is just not right. Also, remember, today is Sophie Ross, our pop culture roundup. If you are listening to this on the audio version, you can use that timestamp and skip right to Sophie right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's another video with Sophie on it. So we covered everything. We talked it all. We talked about Vanderpump, Summer House. We got into Kardashians, which, by the way, can you believe we've got such a week of TV ahead of us? And I'm not even only talking about the first part of the Vanderpump Rules reunion. I mean, listen, we've been living in a Vanderpump vacuum that I am waiting to turn off. And we've got 4 more weeks of this left. But this Vanderpump news comes hot and heavy. If you listen to the episodes on Friday, I mean, there's like 6+ hours of content there. That's insane. Also, thank you to all my Patreon baddies. That's what we call ourselves, baddies, because we're adult people that call ourselves nicknames like that. I just did an hour-long Q&A episode over there, which I got to do another one because I didn't even get nearly to all of the questions. But we talked a lot of stuff over there. So go join if you want to hear that. Patreon.com/so bad it's good. And also, you guys, thank you so much for everybody that left reviews on the Apple Podcast and the Spotify. I see you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys are good. I hope this is going to be a great week for you. There's no reason that it shouldn't. If we keep our heads down and just work hard, be kind, good, and decent people, and realize that we should dislike only Sandoval and Raquel, I think we're going to be okay with this week. Like I said a second ago, the Kardashian season 3 premieres on Hulu. Will you guys be watching? I've never seen this little excitement or felt this little excitement just from the pop culture spheres. It's just weird. It's weird that the show gets released this Thursday and it doesn't seem like anybody's talking about it. I mean, the eternal question we always ask ourselves, have we reached a Kardashian limit where we just truly don't care anymore? And this season from the trailer doesn't look bad. I'm sure they'll find a way to make it very bad, but we'll see. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with it. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of other stories that me and Sophie didn't hit or expand on a couple of things here. But I do want to bring up one of the best shows on television right now that I watched this weekend. And of course, you already know what I'm talking about. Say it with me. Selling Sunset. Oh my God, Selling Success. No, I'm joking. I don't think it is one of the best shows on television, but I want to tell you guys and not even plea with you guys because it's TV. I don't need to plea for you to watch anything. Season 6 of Selling Sunset is hysterical. Hysterical, you guys. Okay, now Selling Sunset, if you don't know, is about a lot of salt of the earth, rough and tumble real estate agents. No, these people all are rich as hell. They dress like the X-Men at the Met Gala. It is completely ridiculous. Now, last season, season 5, really kind of sucked. And Christine is no longer there, and she was kind of the ultimate villain. But I know this is going to be blasphemous. I like Christine, but I just don't think any of these characters are worth their weight in gold at all. I mean, that's what's so funny about it is. But this is why I watched the entire season, all 11 episodes. It cleansed me from the dark feeling I was having covering Vanderpump Rules this season 6. And I went in just really going like, shit. But then I thought it was so ridiculous that I loved it. Now, just to remind you, with Selling Sunset, it is produced by, I think, Adam Davola, right? It's the guy who did The Hills. Now, what he is known for and what he is just brilliant at is that he can take something not very interesting at all even though selling real estate is kind of interesting, but not the way these people do it. He takes this very thin plot line, like we're talking the thinnest of plot lines, and he adds the best lighting. I mean, this thing is lit within, you guys, it looks so glossy, and that takes so much time to light those scenes. You want to talk about like Vanderpump Rules and all that stuff being fake? Let me introduce you to Mr. Selling Sunset, because Selling Sunset, you will literally, it's like, I think we can all feel like, come on, come on. I live in Los Angeles, and I'm like, none of these restaurants don't even, I swear to God, I halfway through was like, do these restaurants that they go to even exist? They were like saying names where I'm like, I've never even heard of that restaurant. Like, listen, I know I'm an Old Navy kind of Chili's kind of guy, but still, these restaurants, like, there's not a restaurant. I was like, they're making up restaurants now. That's not a real restaurant. Okay, so basically, they work at this place called the Oppenheim Group, and there's two brothers. I call them the Bald Brothers. One is artificial intelligence, and one is real. And I couldn't even tell you which one. Their names are Jason and Brett, I believe. Brett is. They're both kind of tiny, and I don't mean that in a bad way. They have great lives, but Brett is the shorter one, and Jason is the taller one. But like we're talking about like an inch and a half. But sometimes that's all you need. And they own this place, the Oppenheim Group on Sunset, and they deal in luxury real estate. Okay, they're no joke. They don't mess around. They're not no Caldwell banker. They're not your run of the mill. They're selling sexy houses. This is a sexy group of people. This is a sexy group of real estate agents, and I shit you not, they have. The fashion on this show has always been kind of ridiculous, but they dress like they are walking the runway. Like the one lady was wearing like couture where her beaver was showing, and she was like, I can't sit down in this thing. Like it was insane. If I ever see, this is why I'll never get a house. If I was ever going to get a house and one of these ladies showed my house, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? What is going on here? What is happening here? But anyways, the kind of hero character, I guess, is Chrishell. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like we're so desperate to like people. I don't even think. But anyways, Chrishell used to date the one brother, Brett, but they split up because Brett doesn't want to like have kids supposedly and ruin his bachelor lifestyle. So they break up last season. But then in the interim, Chrishell goes and falls in love with this G Flip. And G Flip is this non binary person from, I believe, Australia. And they're a very big musician over there, like a drummer musician. And G Flip makes a couple of appearances. And I'm talking chemistry, baby. She's sitting on. She's sitting on G Flip's lap while G Flip teaches her how to play the drums, Chrishell. She's like, G Flip reminds me a little bit of Austin Powers. It's like, behave, all right, baby. Yeah, baby, whatever you want, baby. I need more G Flip in my life. In fact, take Chrishell off Selling Sunset and just do a Chrishell G Flip show. But anyways, G Flip's only in it a handful of times. Need more G Flip. But that's a big thing, is that all of a sudden in the first episode, Chrishell is explaining that, like, yeah, she used to date Brett, but now she dates a non-binary, a born female, non-binary. So she's explaining it to, other castmates, and she lets us know it's all about the energy. It's all about the energy. And I thought that was kind of beautiful and really simple. And it moved on. I love that they didn't make it. I love people weren't like, what's the deal with you and G Flip? How did that happen? I like that it's just kind of accepted. Loved that part of it. All joking aside, love that part of it. But then the rest of it is ridiculous. And they have this new, who's like the new bad girl? What's her name? What is it? Is it Nicole? She is the new bad girl, but not really. I'm trying to find the name. Wait, so I'm looking at cast photos right now, you guys. Okay, so Chrishell, of course, Mary Fitzgerald is married to this young guy, Romaine. And if you've watched it from the first season, Romaine's had a tough go of it with the English language. So he kind of just speaks in like little broken phrases. Really good looking guy. And now he's a contractor for Brett, I think. Guys, I might be confusing Brett and Jason. Just know that they're both brothers and they're both bald. And then you got Heather. Heather's pregnant and she's married to that Tarek El Moussa from he does the home and garden renovation shows and always wears a baseball cap with like a tight brim. He's very like, he kind of seems like not surfer, but like that kind of Hermosa Beach kind of bro. She's pregnant. And also, the great thing about Heather is Heather will always say things that aren't funny. And then she'll laugh at the very end. She'll be like, well, that's what he said. Ha 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 ha. Ha. She'll go, ha 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 ha. She'll go, ha ha ha. After every damn line. She'll be like, ha 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 ha. And it'll be like this high pitched shotgun laugh that I'm fascinated with. Then you have Chelsea, and Chelsea's a British real estate agent, beautiful woman wearing ridiculous outfits. She has a family with 2 kids. She gets into it. The thing is, folks, I could explain to you what the big drama is on this season, but it's not even, it's a show that it doesn't really matter what the storyline is. Oh, sorry, guys. Jason Oppenheim is the one that Chrishell used to date. Jason, but now Jason is with this young girl, Mary Lou, and Mary Lou's taller than Jason. Not that that matters, but the funny thing they're vacationing a lot. He's like, listen, Mary, I need you to run the Oppenheim group. I'm going to take a step away from the business. And I'm like, whoa, because you can go overseas and like, hang out with Mary Lou or Marie Lou or whatever, something Lou, Mary Lou, whoever. He's like, I was like, oh my God, he's going to like leave for 6 months. He's leaving for 3 weeks. He's leaving for 3 weeks. He leaves. And then Mary, the whole like episode, she's like, I can't deal with this. It's too much. It's 3 weeks. What are you, insane? This show is faker than fake. The sad thing is, it's probably a little real too. It's just that their whole existences are kind of like fake. So it reads even doubly fake to the audience. I can't be alone in thinking this. There's no way I'm alone. Okay. The new girl. Yeah. Nicole Young. And she is new. Now, Nicole is now against Chrishell because Nicole's just not loving, like there's like some fight about like from 3 years ago, and Chrishell gets like all in Nicole's face and vice versa at some showing, which I guess was uncouth, but we're seeing a different side of Chrishell this season. And but then Chrishell, they go to Palm Springs on some vacation, you guys. I know this sounds like a fever dream, but this actually is a real show. Chrishell calls Nicole, and this is not, I'm not making a crackhead. Literally calls Nicole a crackhead. In the year of our Lord 2023, we are using the term crackhead, and everybody's like, what? And then Nicole takes that really seriously, like, I don't do crack. And I was like, I don't think anybody thinks you do crack. I think, Chrishell was just trying to throw something at you, but she kind of like says, oh, well, you were crazy at Mary's bachelorette party, which was a couple of years ago, which then leads me to believe Chrishell's a narc. Chrishell's one of those friends that's going to rat you out for smoking weed at a party or doing like a little bump or something like that. Are you kidding me, Chrishell? But Nicole takes it super serious and goes and gets a drug test in Palm Springs and threatens to hire a lawyer. And I'm like, hell yeah. Now, I don't love Nicole. I don't think she's a crackhead. And I think calling somebody a crackhead is horrible. But I will say that's the kind of drama I'm in there for, Now, Amanda's been there for a couple of seasons. I don't, she's great. She's been on this show before. Really, really nice and cool. But she's another one that it's like, wait, how many hours are you in the makeup chair and the fittings just to go to work every day? And the place that they work at, you guys, is this beautiful location, but they all have these like metal desks that make no sense. Like you can't store anything there. This isn't a real office. And the fact, I bet it is a real office for them, but it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's like not real in the sense that we're used to real. And then what will happen is like all open floor plans. So Mary will be like, I need to see you in my office. And then they walk 3 feet from those metal tables and have a private conversation in front of everybody. It's literally like there's no privacy. And they'll be like, come over here and let's have a private conversation. And then everybody's at their desks acting like they're working, just literally hearing the whole. It is so dumb. And I love it. It is exactly what I need and what you need after the darkness of Vanderpump Rules. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to take it from anybody anymore saying Vanderpump Rules is fake when this shit is out there. Are you kidding me? If this is a criminal activity happening on Netflix, this show is faker than everything combined. Now, Davina, if you remember her of the strong eyebrows, Davina was always kind of like that annoying girl that wanted to sell the $75 million house. She's on the poster for season 6, but I shit you not, literally pops up like twice and not in any kind of key moments at all. It's very bizarre why she would even be on the poster. Like I think the production forgot she wasn't really in it. And then Bre, oh, you guys, Bre, the new girl, Bre, I kind of dig Bre. She just had a child, so she's like breastfeeding in some scenes, but she's already in a corset. Really wild. But guess what? Guess who her baby daddy is? That's right, folks. Nick Cannon. By the way, if you have a baby in this day and age, you could say Nick Cannon, and 33% of the time, you're going to be right on he's the dad. This guy is multiplying more than like gremlins when you pour water on him. Are you kidding me? This Bre had a kid with Nick Cannon, and then there's actual conversations because people are like, she finds out that Nick Cannon is having another baby with another lady unexpectedly. She didn't know it. She's like, oh, that's interesting. Like literally on the show. Which, by the way, if this girl makes it to another season, I'm sure she's going to find out that Nick had another baby. It's going to be a recurring segment on this show. But this girl let Nick Cannon put his pee in her and do what Nick Cannon does, which is just be annoying and have children. Sorry, I'm not a Nick Cannon fan. Stop sleeping with Nick Cannon, period. But this Bre, I really like her. But do you know who she used to date, you guys? She used to date Nick Hogan from Hulk Hogan's son. That's all right, brother. You used to date Bre, now you're dating Nick Cannon, brother. Nick Hogan. Remember Nick Hogan? Remember Hogan Knows Best from VH1? Am I one of the only weirdos that watched every season of Hogan Knows Best? When I was a general manager at a nightclub, they shot an episode of Hogan Knows Best at my bar. And I was like, wow, Hulk Hogan is at my bar. And like Brooke and the son, and there was like there was like a male stripper there. And I remember the storyline was Hulk had a problem with the male stripper because I'm trying to remember it, but it was so fake, you guys. I remember it. Oh, so fake. Anyways, this Bre went from Nick Hogan 12 years ago to Nick Cannon, keeping it in the Nick family. But she also gets questioned about, how much child support she's getting. And she lets us know it ain't like that. It ain't like that. And then Nick Cannon, who just, he loves being talked about in whatever capacity. He was Instagramming last night going like, yo, people don't get the way we do it. We do it differently. My money is their money in regards to his harem of women that have sired his children. And he goes, he gave her a Lambo. I'm like, Nick, you don't need to give these girls Lambos. Just make sure the kids are taken care of. Like, my God. But Bre, I really like Bre. I can't get over her. It's like at this point, if you're still in this day and age having babies with Nick Cannon, you're suspect. You're suspect. And I thought Bre is actually a refreshing character on this show. And then, of course, Emma Herman, who, of course, makes the vegetarian or vegan empanadas. And Emma is weird because she's beautiful, but at the same time, if you look at her long enough, you can already picture her as like a golden girl, like you can already picture. I don't know, for some reason I kept seeing Emma in her 70s. She doesn't look old at all, but like, there's certain people, I know this is such a weird comment, people that you see that you're like, I'm already seeing them as an older man or woman. Like, she's one of those people for me where I'm already seeing her like, back in my days, I used to sell real estate with a lot of ladies that dress like strippers. But Emma's there. I mean, I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you the storyline. It's a very thin storyline, but I have to say, I'm so in on this show. I watched it all in one day. They've already filmed all of season 7 because you see a trailer at the end. And I think they're picked up for 2 new seasons, but it's great counter programming to what I think is the gritty reality of Vanderpump Rules. It is so silly and stupid. And I think I'm going to cover it episode by episode on the show or on Patreon because it's so ridiculous. They have overpowering music. The music on this, you think the Vanderpump Rules songs are good. Immediately in the first episode, they hit you with a girl boss song of like, girl bossing, 9 to 5, girl bossing, I'm gonna make it mine, girl boss, women power. It is so, you just start laughing at scenes. What scares me are the people that watch this show and like take it like note for note seriously, because I think this show works if you if you just laugh, it's hysterical to me. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know if you liked this season of Selling Sunset as much as I liked it. But I just there's no form of reality. Oh, another thing, that one Oppenheim brother, he loves Aperol spritz. He loves a tight shirt that he can like unbutton 3 buttons down, and he loves an Aperol spritz. And he was like, "Oh, we were doing these in Mykonos," and him and his girlfriend though, they get one of the first scenes at the restaurant. He orders an Aperol spritz to share with him and his lady. Like they don't even get their own Aperol spritz. He's like an Aperol spritz to split. And I've never ordered an alcoholic drink to split with somebody else, unless it was one of those big, where they just dump all the liquors in like a tub. What are those called? Like the boats, the liquor boats. Yeah. And then he orders Aperol spritzes at another time, and it's this guy's Aperol spritz hung. Those little details for me are the things that I just crack up about. And the other thing, I know I'm really talking this up, but the other thing I love, so the whole thing is supposedly based around selling these houses. And they do have, because you're like, Ryan, we're like kind of been on the bubble of a recession for so many years, but not in Selling Sunset universe, except that they do acknowledge it once, because the one bald brother has a conversation with one of the real estate agents, and he's like, listen, yeah, it's tough out there. It's tough. Now, the $1 to $3 million houses still flying off the shelf. There's 6 offers for every one. But right now, it's we're feeling it in the 20 million and up market. That's where it's hitting us. We're really feeling it. So I do want to assure you that they do mention the recession and the tough times that Americans are having. And those Americans are people that can afford $20 million and over homes. It's so ridiculous. It is so amazing. And then if you're looking, like if you're like a real estate agent or aspiring real estate agent, you're like, maybe this show will help me sell the old real estate. This is what they do too. They'll be like, oh my God, we've got an offer on the house. They didn't accept the offer. What should we do? And they'll be like, let's spitball it. What up, Selling Sunset team? O Group, tell me. And they're like, oh my God, I've got an idea. What if we did a counter offer? And they're like, whoa, a counter offer. Like, it is the most basic real estate that the fact that these are potentially real people selling these things, and it is bargain, like it's like, do a count. They're like, how can we sell this house? And they're like, word of mouth. Let's do word of mouth, or let's throw a hamburger party. Like, they'll be like, let's throw a glossy ad up in a real estate magazine. And they're like, brilliant. Let's try that. It makes real estate, it makes it look so easy, you guys. All you have to do is have big, gigantic fake boobies and wear skirts that are like hitting right at your labia. And then these properties are just going to fly off the shelves. So that is the So Bad It's Good review of Selling Sunset. High recommendation on the So Bad It's Good front. Also, to temper that, we've got Succession. Now, tonight was episode 9 of 10 episodes. Next Sunday is our last episode of Succession, the Succession series finale, not season, series finale. And this episode, where it was Logan Roy's funeral, spoiler alert, he died. And it was amazing. It was I was talking on the Patreon about this earlier. I've never seen a season of the show where it has been banger episode out of banger after banger episode. There's not been a bad one in the bunch. And the quality of each one of these episodes, it's no wonder they're ending it after this season, because they couldn't keep this pace up. It is just, from every aspect of the art of making television movies, if you judge it from any angle, it's brilliant. The costuming, even the background extras that they use in the funeral scene. I mean, the locations, the writing, the acting, the directing. I was watching the little how it was made clip after the episode, and the director, his name's Mark Mylod, I think his name is. He also directed that movie, The Menu, with Ralph Fiennes. You can find on HBO Max, which I want to talk to you about HBO Max in a second. Guys, I love talking to you, man. It is so nice to talk pop culture and stuff that we love with you guys. I pinch myself, and I'm so happy to talk about things other than Vanderpump Rules. So I love getting to talk about how I nerd out about Succession and all of this stuff. But it is just it's so fun for people who take TV making seriously. I love the art of it. I mean, I would also love to hear Adam DeVello talk about the art of making Selling Sunset. I hope he's as passionate as the people that make Succession. But anyways, it's a brilliant episode again, and you just see now it's coming down which kid is going to be the successor. Which kid? It's called Succession. Logan Roy has died. Waystar Royco. It is up for grabs, and you got Shiv, you got Roman, and you got Kendall. And Kendall is coming in strong. Roman, kicked his dick in the dirt tonight. I don't even know what that means, but he bombed it. He screwed it up, had a fit at his father. Like he started crying during his speech at his father's funeral, even though he said he pre-grieved. He didn't pre-grieve, folks. And it was so, God, Kendall, Kieran Culkin in that that role is just amazing. Jeremy Strong, though, and Sarah Snook, who plays Shiv, just equally as amazing. What a cast. You got Greg throwing in those funny little lines. You had James Cromwell, who played Logan's brother there tonight, giving a great speech. You have Alan Ruck as the other brother, who's just goofy as hell. And now you have, the plot line is so similar to what we've been through as a country the last couple of years. But if you're thinking about starting Succession, first off, you're too late, but do it. I can't wait for you. This is what's so amazing about art too, folks, is that we have this for the rest of our lives. As long as we're lucky enough to be on this planet, and I mean this seriously, always revisit the art that inspired you and that you love. I've been doing that with albums and musical artists lately. I've been going through their entire catalog. I challenge you to do this. Pick the one musical artist. You've probably had many, but as a kid, and I'm not talking about kid, but when you're like 13 and up, that one musical artist, whether it be like, I remember my dad getting me into the Stones or getting me into the Beatles or, getting into U2, find that one artist and then go back and listen to everything that they've ever done from beginning to end. And you can do that now easily with streaming services. I just finished U2's entire catalog again, and I'd skipped out the last 3 or 4 albums because I was like, oh God. But then I read Bono's autobiography and it sucked me back in. And I went back and just listened, and I was so obsessed with U2 as a kid. And I there's those pockets of your life where you almost forget about and you put away, but there were such deep moments for you, and it brought back so many good memories. But then it also made me reappreciate it from a different aspect from this point in my life. And I suggest doing that with everything, with TV shows you loved, with all that, because it makes you remember that kid that you were, that place you were at, and it kind of is this fond memory of everything that you've gone through since that brought you to this moment, and you're being able to appreciate that same art from a different angle. The same thing with Real Housewives shows. I'm not even joking. That's what's so great about, the streaming services, I'm pissed a lot of them. There's too many of them. But like on Peacock, you can access any episode of any Housewives show and go from the beginning and kind of see everybody's origin story. And that's what I think the beautiful thing about entertainment and pop culture is that now it has this beautiful history that we have easy access to. I used to dream about the day that I'd have access to every TV show and every album at the tip of my fingertips. And we live in that day now. And I still find things to complain about. Can you conceive that? Can you conceive of that? Succession, amazing. Go and start it if you haven't. It's only 4 seasons, less than 40 episodes, but I think you will. I'm so excited for years to come to revisit that show. It's already in that mental. I already watch these episodes 2 or 3 times every week because you just miss. It's so good. You just miss things. And now I talked about this last week, but Yellow Jackets, it didn't hit. Like, I'll watch every episode of Yellow Jackets for however long it's on. It's already renewed for next season. I just feel like it's, when you compare it to a show like Succession, it's nowhere even in the ballpark. And I'm trying to be, it has such an amazing cast and such a strong first season. It just, this week's episode, it's not pulling me back in as much. And I'm starting to lose faith and even interest in the overall mystery of the woods that they're stranded in. I don't know if you guys feel that way. I hate to be a negative Nelly about it. And I hope to be proven wrong at another point. So yay for TV. Okay. let's go on to some other news. We talked about Kardashians. Oh, I believe today the Randall scandal comes out on Hulu. We'll cover that on this show, but that is Randall Emmett, Lala Kent's ex, and he is a very, very allegedly bad man. Also, I want to recommend, and I recommended to Sophie today, the Hillsong documentary on FX and Hulu. It's all about the Hillsong Church and their pastors. And I thought they released the first 2 episodes on Friday. The next 2 will be out this next Friday. It's called, I think, Secrets of Hillsong. Really recommend that. In fact, if anybody knows anybody that worked on that, I would love to talk to them. Sandra, if you're listening, let's see if we can get somebody from Secrets of Hillsong on this. Talked about Selling Sunset. Kardashians come out this week. Beyonce and Jay-Z, did you just see this? They bought the single most expensive piece of real estate in California history, a $200 million house on in Malibu. In Malibu. Have you seen the pictures of this? It doesn't look, this is just so funny. $200 million. And the ocean is right there. It's literally in the ocean. They own the ocean. They bought like the ocean, but their house is right on the ocean, has all these cool, like, it's obviously like very, artistically designed. And sometimes artistically designed in this day and age just looks like big pieces of concrete put together at weird angles. But whatever, if you have the money, spend it. But they're going to also hang on to their $88 million home in is it Brentwood? I don't know what area they have, but they're going to keep on that. So now their whole real estate holdings in all of Los Angeles, California area, $300 million. And they also have places on the East Coast. They got, I mean, these people love their houses, but I love, do you ever do this when you like, I don't know what it is. I think it's like talking about too many rich celebrities. Somebody was saying the other day of like, oh, well, he got $2 million for that role. And I was like, 2 million ain't shit. Here's me with like, I'm a thousandaire barely. And I'm like bagging on somebody with I'm like, 2 million. What are you going to do with that? That's not going to last you long. What are you kidding me? 2 million, loser. But I do the same. Like I was looking at this house on Daily Mail, the paper of note. I'm flipping through the pictures of the mansion in Malibu. And I was like, this doesn't look like much. 200 million doesn't get you a lot these days. Now, granted, I'm never going to step foot on that property. I'm just judging by an overhead photo. And I'm sitting there going like, really? $200 million? Come on. I was just bagging on it in my head, not realizing how stupid that truly is. Oh, also another thing I kind of recommend. I watched the Anna Nicole Smith documentary that came on Netflix last week. I watched that and it was good. I wanted a little more from it, but it was good. I recommend it. I think Anna Nicole Smith lived a very interesting life, and it takes you from the very beginning to the very end. And it is interesting in the sense of people that have created their image. You could say Marilyn Monroe did a similar thing, even though I think Marilyn Monroe really was such an amazing actor, let alone an icon and what she, still is to a lot of people. But Marilyn Monroe actually just an amazing actor and popped on screen. I don't think she ever gets the credit that she deserves. But Anna Nicole Smith also kind of created a legend, created a mystery around her that people were naturally curious about. She kind of turned into a joke in a little bit of the ways, even though I love the Anna Nicole Smith reality show, which they do talk about with Howard K. Stern. But remember when that came out, remember when it did, she was kind of a laughing stock in a lot of ways. And she leaned into that. And then she tragically did, obviously die from a bunch of medications. But she had also gotten really skinny because people had made fun of her so much for the weight gain on the Anna Nicole Smith thing. Do you ever do this too in our Ozempic? We're in the Ozempic 2023. This is such a dark thought I had, but I always think like, wow, what if Anna Nicole Smith was alive today and she was desperately trying to lose weight? She was like doing trim spa and all of this ephedrine things, but like, oh my God, where was Ozempic when Anna Nicole Smith needed it? And I don't mean that as a joke. I literally mean like they were so obsessed with their weight because of how people made them feel. This would have potentially helped them, even though it's not used. That wouldn't be its proper use, but it is one of those things. You can almost sometimes write out certain celebrities and how they would do in this day and age. And I sometimes think about that of like, oh, what if this celebrity was around for this craze? But Anna Nicole Smith, ultimately a tragic life. And Danny Lynn, her daughter, who is now raised by her father, Larry Burkhead, which, oh my God, I forgot to tell you this. The first time I met Tom Sandoval was at his birthday party, like on season 5 of Vanderpump Rules. And it was the one when he was like had the he's starting to have the crazy longer hair, and it was like a fundraiser for some like children's organization. But I remember Jax had his card declined there, and Brittany had to put it on hers. But I was there that night, first time, and like first time I was around any of these people. And Larry Burkhead was one of the guests, and I still to this day never asked Ariana or anybody why Larry Burkhead was there. But me in my pop culture mind, I was like, I knew immediately who. That's the great slash horrible thing about being me is I'll go places and be like, I can just pick Larry Burkhead out of a lineup. I'm like, that's Larry Burkhead, and it was like I remember somebody confirming, but I never got like why he was actually there. Anywho, the Anna Nicole Smith on a Netflix documentary. Check it out. It's dark, but it's interesting. I think you should watch it eventually. I think it's worth talking about. Oh, Dua Lipa. Did you see this? Dua Lipa went public with her new boyfriend, and I am livid. The fact that Dua Lipa didn't even give me a shot is so upsetting to me. So his name is Romain Gavras. That's not a strong. Bailey's a strong name, not Gavras. They made their debut at the Cannes Film Festival on Friday, and I think this guy's like some producer or what a whack, whatever. I mean, it'd be a lot cooler if he was a podcaster. High five, right? No, okay. And he looked. I mean, I will say this: she was dating that Hadid boy. Remember, old shovel face, and dating the Hadid boy. And I don't like the Hadid boy. I just don't. I'm not even to say his first name. That's how. But Gigi and Bella, and there's the Hadid boy. She's dating him for a while. I just didn't like that. They broke up, and I was like, okay. And then there was like a rumor. Remember around December, she was dating Jack Harlow for a minute. I was like, that sounds dumb. And then now she's with this guy. This guy does look very manly. He's got a very very strong beard, and he looks like he could beat the living daylights out of me. So Dua, if that's what you're looking for, like a real studly strong man with a cool beard, I guess you found it. Good luck with that. Also, I wanted to shout out the Foo Fighters. The Foo Fighters, of course, still dealing, and they will be for the rest of their careers, the loss of the amazing drummer Taylor Hawkins. Foo Fighters, though, have a new album coming out, and they are going on a very big world tour that they just recently announced. Now, the Foo Fighters music is it gets sometimes made fun of. I think Dave Grohl is one of the most inspirational people in rock and roll and just seems like a genuine, nice person. I will go out of my way to support Dave Grohl all the time. And also I want to recommend Dave Grohl's documentaries. He did one called Sound City. He did that HBO one. What is it? It was a docu-series about going from towns and kind of exploring their music scene. What was that called? Sound City was the first documentary, and then I'll remember it. Anyways, I bought his book. I've seen Foo Fighters like a half dozen times. Their music can be a little simplistic, but in the best way. But it's all power chords. It's all rock. And this guy, Dave Grohl, is just the ultimate showman. When he comes out, he'll be like, "Are you ready to stay here all night long? Because we're going to go all night long." And then you realize he does that at every show just to get people pumped up. Because there's nothing better than going to a concert and hearing, "We're going to be here all night. We're breaking all ordinances. We're doing an 8-hour show." Like, you're like, holy shit. But I found out from seeing him tons of times, he does that every show. Foo Fighters revealed that their new drummer is named Josh Freese. Freese. He is Taylor Hawkins' successor. And this dude is an amazing all around drummer. He's drummed with, he's drummed with everybody. Over the past decade, he's contributed to the records of Lana Del Rey, Rob Zombie, Bruce Springsteen, A Perfect Circle, Sting. He's toured and recorded with Danny Elfman, was a member of Devo's recent live. By the way, Devo is a group that I just went back and listened to every one of their albums. I've never done that in my life, but I was like, oh, Devo. And it was so much fun. I didn't realize how kind of punk they were, on top of being like, there was like synth and there was new, it was really great. He's toured with Guns N' Roses, Nine Inch Nails, The Vandals, Weezer, Sublime with Rome, His credits include the Evanescence hit "Bring Me to Life," Meredith Brooks's "Bitch," "Good Charlotte's the Anthem," and "Puddle of Mud's "She Hates Me." I think that just means he drummed on those songs. Remember that? I'm a bitch, I'm a lover. But it seems like this is their this is their guy. So I'll be interested to find out more about him. Taylor Hawkins had such a great spirit on stage and energy, and you could tell Dave Grohl loved him so much. So I'm very sad, and always will be, in regards to Taylor's passing and that band, because it means a lot to me. But I hope this guy is everything that they're looking for, because I just think the Foo Fighters brings people a lot of joy, like, and it's one of the only last standing rock bands out there, right? One of the last ones. Okay, so also let's take you through the week in television. Tonight, we had Real Housewives of Atlanta. We also had Summer House Martha's Vineyard. I need to go and watch both of those. Atlanta was good last week. Summer House Martha's Vineyard, I'm still in on. I'm excited to watch both tonight. So go watch those shows. Tonight, what do we have? Below Deck Sailing Yacht, and we have the season finale of Summer House, which me and Sophie talk about. And then on Tuesday, we have Real Housewives of New Jersey, Teresa's Wedding, my dream fairy tale. This Louis, let's see how Reddy gets at his own wedding. I will say I'm just scared to talk about Jersey at this point, because the fandom is really hardcore, and the cast is really hardcore. The more I'm just genuinely scared of all things Real Housewives of New Jersey. You just can't win with that show. You can't win being a casual fan. You need to be an obsessive fan that potentially will scare people. That's where that fandom goes sometimes. I really feel that. And then Wednesday, you of course have Vanderpump Rules, the first part of the reunion. Now, I did bring this up on the Patreon, is that they're not Watch What Happens Live is dark for the next 2 weeks. And I don't know how the F, like, there's got to be a reason why they've got Watch What Happens Live has gotten their highest ratings ever doing those Wednesday night episodes after Vanderpump Rules. The fact that it almost led me to believe there's a reason for this. I know Andy's promoting his book, Daddy Diaries, which I'm excited to read my copy. But part of me is like, is there something like, are maybe those one-on-one interviews that Andy teased with Raquel, Ariana, and Tom, maybe that's going to go in where the Watch What Happens Live slot would be, and it's going to be an hour and a half, including those one-on-ones with Andy. I'm hoping that's it, because I just don't, Watch What Happens Live shouldn't be dark. Shit, let me do it, let Danny do it, let fucking Ron and Benny do it, Ron and Ben, let's Kate do it. Like, we should all be pitching in to make Watch What Happens Live should not be dark these next 2 weeks. We need new episodes of Watch What Happens Live, period. Okay, and then Thursday you have Top Chef, which Sophie loves. And then Friday you have that Secrets of Hillsong thing I was telling you about. Most of TV is done. Saturday Night Live would have had its season finale already, but we had the writer strike. So a lot of shows that are live or up to date or current. I don't think Watch What Happens Live is union, so they don't use union writers. They don't have to strike. But everything else is going to be dark. And you're going to start seeing it affected in a lot of ways. You're going to start to see a lot more game shows, a lot more reality-based shows. Also, I want to tell you, on Wednesday nights as well, Survivor's on. And this is the season finale of Survivor's on Wednesday as well. I love this season of Survivor. I don't talk about it. It's like not even my secret shame. It's my secret passion. Like, I love Survivor because I don't have to talk about it, but it is Carolyn is, if you watch Survivor, Carolyn is amazing. She's incredible. She is so Carolyn, her faces that she makes. And congrats, Carolyn. I read that you had 14 years of sobriety this weekend. If you're listening, by the way, I would love, can we get Carolyn from Survivor on So Bad It's Good? Man, this season of Survivor was great. I've taken a long Survivor sabbatical, and for some reason I got back into it this season, and I'm so glad I did. So then, Friday, Secrets of Hillsong. And then Sunday, you got Succession. I know I'm missing a bunch of shows in there. Also, 90 Day Fiance the other way. They had their second part of their tell-all tanight. Everybody on 90 Day Fiance is just a mess. I can't. Reality Gaze covers that show so well, but it is just a shit show. I feel ashamed watching that show at the time, and then I feel like I can see it so clearly, and then the people in the show can't even see it clearly when they're talking about each other's couples. They're like, he's like, I agree with Osama, and Osama's just, they're all idiots, you guys. 90 Day Fiance is horrible, but it's very easy to watch. And I'm missing my Friday Night Love, which is Life After Lockup and Love After Lockup. They ended their season a couple weeks ago, and I'm feeling it. I miss my Fridays with my Love After Lockup family. Okay, that is TV. Two more things, and then we're gonna get to Sophie, I swear. One is that on Tuesday, one of the dumbest moves in television history is happening. We are switching. If you watch HBO Max, even tonight, they added on these previews of like, remember, on Tuesday, HBO Max becomes Max. So they're getting rid of the HBO name thanks to this doofus in charge of everything named David Zaslav. Say it with me, David Doofus Zaslav. He actually gave a commencement speech at Boston University today and was booed, and people were saying, "Pay your writers." He is one of those corporate doofuses. Sorry, David. And by the way, Sandra, remind me to edit this out if I ever work for Discovery Time Warner. David, good guy, David. But one of their test marketing things was that they found that the HBO name scares people, that it's considered almost elitist in a way. And for me, I always thought of HBO as like a name that like showed me that it was quality, regardless of the show, but now they thought so they switched it to Max. Now it was originally a merger kind of HBO and Cinemax, and it was HBO Max. I was like, okay, there you go. And Cinemax, by the way, Cinemax for me, I just always think of Skinemax. When I was a kid, Cinemax was, as a young boy, was the place that you went to see boobies on a late Friday night if you were lucky to have a Cinemax subscription. I didn't. And I was back in the day of cable where you would try to like tune in the cable. So it would be like these wavy lines, but you could make out a face. And sometimes you get half of a boob on the top left of the screen and half of a boob on the bottom right. But I was truly living. I was like, oh my God, I see a whole boob. But we called it Skinemax because they aired a bunch of like really dirty films that you weren't supposed to be watching as a kid. But I don't know how in this merger they were like, let's get rid of the HBO one and just stay with Max. And I just think that is one of the saddest, biggest bullshit things that you would ever do for money. I will never understand that. I thought HBO is a brand you should be proud of and not something that you should ever hide. And I love that all of these mergers happen and this streaming service of HBO Max happens. And now here we are a couple of years later, and now you're getting rid of the HBO and just going to go to Max. I hope it works, you jackasses, but it doesn't seem like it is going to at the end of the day. And it's just going to become another thing at the cost of the consumer. We are going to end up screwed because they're going to charge us more money for it eventually, and their programming is going to go down. It's not going to be like, Succession. They put so much money into it. Games of Thrones, so much money into it. They give these they give all sorts of voices to marginalized communities. Even like think about Black Lady the Black Lady sketch comedy show. You had Insecure. You have all of these really amazing voices, and I feel like those are going to be the first ones to go. And I hate that. I want every voice to be represented. I thought it was so exciting that you had this streaming service that was giving money to everybody. And of course, at the end of the day, it is a money-making thing. But I believe if you look into their numbers, they're making a lot of money. They just want to make more. And you're never going to convince me that the streaming service should include Succession, should also include Dr. Pimple Popper. I think that the fact that they're considering merging these streaming services is wild to me. And I know I'm just bitching and complaining at this moment, but it frustrates me. So do remember, HBO Max is not going to exist after Tuesday. So thank you, David Zaslav. How dare you? And finally, a little Vanderpump Rules news to get us into Sophie. This is from Sheena's podcast this weekend. Thank you to Marissa and Amy Field and Maritza and Sandra who update my notes. I think this is, I think Marissa made these notes. But I didn't listen to Shenanigans this weekend, Sheena's podcast, Shenanigans, but this is the information she revealed on her podcast. Raquel still hasn't reached out to her. Tom made it sound like Rachel's family forced her to get the restraining order. So it looked like Tom was blaming Raquel's family for that restraining order. Tom Sandoval reached out to Brock because he couldn't get a hold of Raquel. So that's interesting. So that really shows that maybe Raquel is not talking to Tom Sandoval, if that is true. And also, it was revealed on Watch What Happens Live that Ariana said that Raquel wrote Tom a letter. I wonder if it was like a breakup letter. Like, Tom, do not contact me. You don't contact me, you fugly slut. Sheena has not talked to Sean. Sheena has not talked to Tom. She believes the Billy Lee rumors are true. One of the rumors is that Billy Lee and Tom Sandoval hooked up. If that is true, it's really sad because that was another person that Ariana considered she was close to was Billy Lee and always really went to bat for Billy Lee. Raquel rehearses her lines for the reunion. Brock says, make sure to watch all 3 parts. Thanks, Brock. Watch all 3 parts. Like, no shit. Her theory is Sheena's theory is Alex Baskin, who is the executive producer of Vanderpump Rules, is trying to save Sandoval by delaying filming so the cast will be less angry. So he's trying to make it, which I think is understandable and what I kind of predicted anyways, is it's a delicate balance to get all these people obviously to film together. So with more time before filming, people are going to get less heated. But it's hard because they're supposed to pick up cameras in the next 2 weeks. So it's really then hard when the reunion's still going to be airing. They can't do that. So they're going to take a little bit of a break, a pause. On Lisa being too nice to Sandoval. She reminded us Pandora's Lisa's husband, Pandora's husband's current lawsuit. So Pandora's husband, if you don't, there's a lawsuit. I think it was by somebody that used to work or worked in the liquor industry, saying that Pandora's husband did a couple of weird things around her, to her, or there was potential suggestion, like, I don't know. Go read the lawsuit, you guys. But I think it's saying, like, Pandora's husband might be an alleged cheater as well. So maybe there's something there. I think that's what that means. And Sheena's very curious to know about the letters from Raquel to Sandoval. I'm curious too. By the way, I think that needs to be like a stage show. Letters from Raquel to Tom, like, dear Tom, and Tom writing back like, what's up, dude? Me and the extras rocked out super hard tonight. We missed you. During Schwartz's mom, people were wondering if I said Raquel is not for me or Raquel is hot for me. And also, of course, we talk about this. Sophie, Tom was hanging out with a new girl in Austin and was loudly talking on his phone to somebody that he worked for or with, and saying that all the crazy women drove him out of Los Angeles, I think. Also, a lot of people are sending Demois pictures of Tom in the gym. By the way, people have been sending me pictures of Tom in Austin, and I have not posted those because I'm not Demois. But I love that he's already potentially dating other people. But I will say these Tom pictures in the gym, he looks sort of okay on the stage, but when you see him in the gym, all of a sudden he starts looking like American Psycho. He looks like it doesn't look well. I'm glad you're getting your pump on, but maybe get like the therapist pump on. You know what I'm saying? There was also a Demois line that said his card got declined at Uchi, which is a great, I believe, sushi restaurant in Austin. Yeah, a lot of blinds of Tom Sandoval in Austin with this blonde girl. And Ariana's out there living her best life. But remember, like I said on Friday's episode, be careful of putting anybody on a pedestal, including Ariana, because that's a tough place that you're eventually going to fall from. Is that, just temper our expectations on everybody, including myself, you guys. This is just your first half of the show. Now on to the main course, Miss Sophie Ross with our pop culture roundup. If you're watching on YouTube, go switch over to that video, and you guys have the best week ever. Bye.